Welcome to Selling St. Petersburg. I'm Allana Pinkerton.
I'm Joshua Naylor.
And we are here to talk about this beautiful skyline behind us. Shaking it up just a little bit. It's boring being in a studio or indoors.
What better place than having a setup and a view like this?
This is a great view. So some of the top reasons I tell people to move to St. Pete.
Yeah.
The view over here, we have a bay view. The weather, 361 days of sunshine.
Sign me up.
Yes. All kinds of things to do. Boating, golfing, sailing, water skiing, wakeboarding, jet skiing. What are the kite sailing?
Yep.
Kayaking.
I do a lot of those personally. I'll come over here. I live just south of here, and I'll paddleboard from my house to the pier.
Yes.
Talk about a journey.
Yes. So that's good exercise.
It is. And that's what I do it for, as well as scenery.
Yeah, absolutely. So another great reason to move to St. Pete, investing in property, holding on for a while, because obviously markets go up and down.
I'm a big retainer myself. I'm not a big flipper. I don't jump into properties and jump out of them. I see so much long-term growth in St. Pete in general. That's why I like kind of investing in St. Pete. And then retaining and holding, because especially areas, there's certain areas here and there that I think there's a little more value, bang for your buck, and that's what I tend to gravitate towards.
Yeah, interesting article I read the other day, just a couple of days ago. More millionaires are coming to Florida to rent. So
Are they going to buy?
Well, so somebody has to buy the property to rent it. So I say, and a lot of them are renting here. So if you want to get in on condo investment, buy a condo, lease it out to the millionaires that are coming in. And they're coming in long term. I have a few millionaire friends that are leasing year round. They might not be here year round, but they worked out a deal where some of them pay all the rent up front to get a little lower rate, but they keep it all year long so they can come and go as they please.
And to that, I would say, what better place to be at than St. Pete? And it only took me a couple trips here to St. Pete for me to fall in love with it and then move.
It only took me one.
It took me just a couple. And I was living in Oklahoma at the time. So I was like, hey, I need to make a change.
Right.
Yeah, I need to be here.
Big change. So great living, great living here, just a great lifestyle. Great condo living downtown, urban living downtown. You want to get to the suburbs, go to the suburbs, or just north or south.
What kind of amenities do you get with condos and stuff?
Matter of fact, I have a whole amenities guide to the 7 newest buildings in the area. So right here, right behind us.
So if somebody's specific on what they're looking for, you can kind of guide them in the way.
I can. So everything from obviously swimming pools to sauna to steam. Community rooms that offer private dining plus an extra kitchen for private parties. You bring in a caterer, they have that.
Some places even have their own rooms that you can rent out if you have guests and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the Art House, which is probably going to be completed back here behind Josh's back, probably October, November of this year. They're one condo that have the most amenities out of anybody.
Art houses.
And I did not get paid to say that.
Yeah,
they have everything. So they have guest accommodations on their amenities level. So
guest accommodations, that's what it's called.
It is. So you can actually book those for out-of-town guests or people that are coming to visit, or instead of.
So it's essentially a room that they can.
It's a hotel room.
Yeah,
it's a hotel room. You pay the cleaning fee, and
if you don't want them to hang out with you, but you want them near,
or you have too many people that you can't fit in your condo.
Oh, that's what it is.
Then you have those extra rooms, or maybe you're somebody we don't need a 3-bedroom condo. We just need a 2-bedroom on a regular basis.
Sure.
And if somebody happens to come to town, we can just book the guest room down on the amenities level.
Feature to have, I would say.
It is.
A built-in
hotel.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And other amenities are simulator sports rooms, so you can golf, play tennis.
That's big nowadays.
Indoors.
Yeah, you probably find more of that on new builds than older builds.
Yes, and even some apartment buildings have these amenities, but not. I only know of one apartment downtown that has the simulator, golf simulator. And that's important. We'll talk about golf simulators in just a few minutes because I have visited all the kind of indoor golf places now around town because it does get a little warm during the summer.
Yeah,
so
it helps.
It does help.
Yeah.
Other amenities, 24-hour security, concierge service, an activities director for the community. Some buildings, like 400 residences on Central, they have this amazing sky lounge upstairs. They're going to be up in the clouds on the 49th
I haven't
floor.
seen that in person, but it looks amazing.
I haven't seen it in person. Well, it's not open yet, but it is going to be quite, 360-degree views of the entire area.
And as of now, that will be the tallest building, right?
That will be the tallest building.
For now.
And for now. We do have the Waldorf Astoria luxury brand.
Literally right behind us. So if it was built by now, it would be in the view.
Yes, it would be blocking our view of Tampa right now from this balcony. But the Waldorf is coming online here in the next few years. That is going to probably...
I've never seen anything like it.
I never have either.
I've never seen a design like that. It's got a pool that wraps around the middle of the building.
Exactly. And what's great about that is you can always be at the pool and not worry about getting sunburned.
Why, you just go one side to the other?
You just move as the sun moves around during the day. You just go from one
or
side.
If you want sun, you just follow the sun.
Exactly. So there's so many things that condo life offer. Nice. Most importantly, what probably is maybe on somebody's mind is hurricane season. That's the nice thing about a condo is you can literally just take everything in off your patio, lock and go. You're not
so you can hunker down. Do you typically have to exit a condo
depending on where it is? If it's obviously if you're in an evacuation zone, you want to evacuate. I grew up in Florida. I understand hurricanes, so I always err on the side of caution, even though we were not in an evacuation zone for the hurricanes last year. We still left because a hurricane means water and power may be turned off for a little while.
I would say that'd probably be the worst part.
I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So I'm going to leave and go inland a little bit. We happened to just go ahead and make a vacation out of it and took a trip
little staycation.
Well, we went north. We went back up into Alabama to visit friends. Yeah. But you definitely want to pay attention to your evacuation zones. But literally in a condo, the doors and the windows on the condos these days are airtight, hurricane rated. I mean, you could hunker down. It's a little scary. People don't realize the noise that comes with the high winds and the rain and everything. So the buildings do hum. Any high rises get a hum, and it could be a little frightening. So I personally would leave. That's up to the individual, but you take everything off your patio, you lock it, and you leave. And everything, will be okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's the nice thing about living in a condo. It's easy living for hurricane season.
We are in season now. So
we are in season.
I guess we'll see kind of how it goes. We keep getting mixed reviews on what it's going to be. Time will tell, I would say.
I'm just going to, sit here and just think good thoughts and everything will be okay. Okay. So let's talk about financing condos, unless you want to pay cash.
Yeah.
Cash is always good.
Cash is key.
But if somebody wants to finance a condo, that falls into the jumbo mortgage.
Yep. Condos typically fall in the jumbo. Anything over, I think it's $833,000 is considered jumbo. At which point, depending on your position, you can do as little as 10% down.
So the better credit, the lower percentage you have to put down?
No, not necessarily. Better credit, the better rate you're going to get.
Okay.
The credit doesn't have to do with the amount of money down typically, unless it is somewhat lower. I mean, we do have options for that. But I guess the one thing I would want to talk about too is unwarrantable condos. Unwarrantable condos. Are you familiar with those at all?
Yeah, but go ahead and explain to our audience. That's why I bring him in. He's the expert.
Unwarrantable condos are unique in the fact that, it doesn't conform with Freddie or Fannie or Freddie guidelines. And typically that could be there's too many investors in the property, there's not enough insurance coverage, there could be not enough in the budget allowed. It just depends. The good thing is we have options to get around it. It just takes a little bit more money out of pocket to minimize the risk to us as the investor. So typically it would just take 25% down to do an unwarrantable condo.
But with these new condos,
no, they're all,
we don't have to worry about unwarrantable. And so that's what I'm always presenting to people are these newer condos.
Most of everything that you're probably looking at is going to be warrantable.
Right.
But the simple fact is we have options if it comes down to that.
And you don't need, we need an appraisal.
Yep, we would need an appraisal. No inspection necessary. The inspection is going to be for you or your peace of mind. Inspection is going to more or less look at the current condition of the property. Insurance would be the studs in is all you have to worry about. The rest of it is just for yourself.
And gone are the days, if you're worried about HOA, your association, your board, gone are the days that just anybody can run for a board position. There's actually new laws in place, state laws that board members have to have some kind of, not necessarily real estate knowledge or experience, but they've had to have had experience and the wherewithal to sit on a board because
really?
Yes.
Good.
They also have to go through training no matter what kind of certifications you may or may not have. And you have to understand how a board works, how an association works. There's reserves that are, required to be there.
That goes into the warrantability part
right.
of things.
Obviously, milestone inspections have to be passed and things of that nature. So if you're worried about the association, just know that your board members are going to be a higher level, person.
Caliber.
That knows what they're doing and really does, hopefully have the best interest of everybody. I think a board needs to be balanced. You just can't have people that necessarily only have huge high net worth. You want a balance of what is in the building because
and I would say the good thing is that typically works itself out that way.
Absolutely. And I say that because if you only have people on the board that have, $50 million in assets, they're not going to think twice about assessing everybody for a real fancy upgrade of some sort.
Exactly.
So you don't want that. But living downtown in a high-rise condo just enables people also to form a community or not be in the community. You can kind of hide away in your condo if you want, but there's so much out there within the building that there's a place to go read a book, or if you're still working, there's going to be space.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's a big part of what I see most condos and stuff. It depends on your involvement, but you guys do so much stuff within the community. Because you were telling me, I know it's Tuesday, it could be Taco Tuesday, but you typically have Wine Down Wednesday.
We do. We have Wine Down Wednesday. You can either bring wine or don't. I don't drink wine.
I've had the pleasure of being here, and we hosted a little gathering.
Right.
It was awesome. How many people do you think we had?
We had about 75 people.
That's a lot of people. And now you get to, rub elbows with your neighbors, get to know more, and it's kind of it's a very community.
And this is resident run. So if you have the community, director, or if you have an activities director in your building, then they're running it for you, and then nobody has to kind of set everything up. You just sign up for the event and go. So there's a lot of pluses to living in a high-rise community downtown here in St. Pete. So you're getting ready to go take a trip.
Oh, yes.
We'll hear about that on the next episode.
Yeah, Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Actually be there for a full week, and we're backpacking. Me and a buddy, we are living out of a backpack for the next 7 days.
Did you get your international package so you have cell phone coverage?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll figure that out at some point.
Call your carrier. Say you need they'll charge you for a month.
Or I'll figure it out when I get my bill.
Oh, you don't want that. Get the package. It's a lot better. But if you're looking for my special amenities guide and you want me to email it to you, go ahead and send me an email at allanacpinkerton.com, or I'll put a link to my website and you can sign up for my newsletter. I just launched a new newsletter last week, by the way. gives out great information, not necessarily everything about St. Pete, but just things you might be interested in. So
I had the pleasure of reading through it, and it was absolutely wonderful.
Awesome.
And there's a lot of good stuff happening in the community, in the city, I didn't even know about.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's really cool. You can actually go in there and check on your neighborhood and see what's going on, and with your property values and things like that in your neighborhood. So a lot of cool little things, details on that newsletter. So go ahead and sign up for that. I put it in your inbox just twice a month, so I don't bombard you. But if you want that condo guide, just go ahead and sign up, and I'll send it out to you, and I'll update it as I get more information. I have on there like the average square foot price. I have on there the average HOA fee, and then all the amenities as well.
And if you have mortgage questions, please reach out. Do the same thing. She'll get us connected, and love to answer
I'm going to put your link in the description.
Love to answer any questions you may have, and go from there.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here at Selling St. Petersburg. Until next time, have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you.